Dit is een BNR-podcast.
What did I have for breakfast? I'm really into kiwi. Kiwi to start the day. But typically I'll do probably too much coffee.
Me too. It's horrible.
Then, I don't know, is it?
Well, it's great at the moment, but after I've had 3, I feel terrible.
Depends on the size of them.
True.
But I'll do coffee, and typically I only do breakfast if I'm traveling.
All right, perfect. We can start off.
Oh, those are great. We should have started with that.
Yeah, we should. Well, it is recorded,
This
so
is
I guess
the hard-hitting news that most gamers want to know.
It's the cold open.
What is Troy Baker having for breakfast?
Goed dat je luistert naar deze special aflevering in de feed van All in the Game. Ik ben Niels Kooloos en zoals je waarschijnlijk al kan horen zit ik niet in de studio in Amsterdam, maar ben ik bij Heroes Dutch Comic Con op de jaarbeurs in Utrecht. Want tegenover mij zit een speciale gast die je waarschijnlijk gehoord en of gezien hebt in een heleboel games. Zoals The Last of Us, Bioshock, Uncharted, Batman. Nou ja, de lijst die is lang. Maar nu wil hij ook een eigen game gaan maken. En daar ga ik het met hem over hebben. En daarom schakel ik over naar het Engels en zeg ik: Welcome, Troy Baker. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're recording this right before you're going to do a Q&A up on the main stage.
Oh, God.
I'm wondering, what's the question you would ask yourself?
Why?
Why?
Just why?
Why are you doing all of this?
Why? When will you stop? What a great question. I don't know what I would ask myself. I think that I do find myself asking myself a lot of questions. I'm doing a lot of writing right now, and so I'm constantly asking myself, why this? Mm-hmm. Because I'll get what I think is a good idea, and I'll start exploring that idea. And this is kind of the same thing, whether it be for acting or anything else. Is like, why is this the choice? We ask our son that all the time. Why was that the choice? Why is this the choice? Mm-hmm. And I think that it's a good practice. It's a good discipline to have, to ask oneself, why is this the choice? And I find that the more that I do that, I will either find a better choice or I'll feel better about the one that I'm making or have just made.
Right. Well, let me ask a why question then.
Right.
You're known for all these big franchises like Uncharted, The Last of Us. The list goes on, really. So when I checked your IMDb page when I was preparing this interview, I saw you starred in Mouse PI for Hire, which is a debut indie game.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, why go for that?
Because I love games. Mm-hmm. And I never want to pin myself down as being, this is the thing that you do. And I've looked kind of like throughout the people that I venerate and respect, and those people that are constantly trying to reinvent themselves. Chris Cornell, the late great Chris Cornell, one of my favorite records of his was not his most, matter of fact, it was probably his least successful. It was one that he did with Timbaland, and it's not a good record. But I applauded him for working with the producer just to go, man, what does it look like if I'm produced by this guy? And just because he was constantly exploring, constantly experimenting. So I'm doing the same thing, and the truth is, like, I loved the art style. I loved this small, plucky team that was making a really great game. I love film noir. And I met with the team, and there were other people that they were considering for it, but maybe I was the most. I didn't audition for it, but I think there were definitely other people they had thought about before. And then I came in, and I was like, I'd love to help you bring this thing across the finish line. So I'm always looking for, if it's something that excites me, if it's a game that I want to play, look out.
They just do it, no matter how big the franchise is. Or how small.
Or how small it is, or how brand new it is. I love taking risks. Some of the work that I'm the most proud of, like, look, there was a game called Fort Solace that Roger Clark and I did. Mm-hmm. That game shipped at like a 73. The team worked really hard on it. It was a brand new studio, brand new IP, first-time director, first-time writer. And he had worked in games for a long time, and they really were ambitious with the game that they wanted to make. And I'm proud of the work that Roger Clark and I did. the game was not well received, did not sell well. I don't care. I'm proud of the work that I did.
Wow.
I don't chase a Metacritic. I don't chase awards.
Good thing. Speaking about debut games and taking risks, I've read you want to make your own game.
Yeah.
And I wonder, why?
Why is that the choice?
Why is that the choice?
So I, in a very cavalier way, I made a comment. My buddy Greg Miller, look, I've had a remarkable career and I've helped people make some incredible games. There's a difference between working with a studio, working for a studio, and working at a studio. And right now I'm in almost like an apprenticeship phase where I'm wanting to learn more about how the industry functions, how studios function, because I have, over the last 20 years, have started moving further into those concentric rings of development from, being a guy they hire and I get to only see the game when I'm working on it for a couple of days and then when it comes out, to being in the writer's room or being at early stages of development. And I find that I really get excited being in game jams and stand-ups. And my goal right now is to be in as many Slack channels as I possibly can.
Just keep learning.
Just keep learning.
Do you have any idea about what this game should be about, or is it just...
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Could you share with us? Oh, you have more ideas?
No, I have many ideas.
Many ideas, okay.
But there's one right now that I have that I'm really drilling down on, and it's believe it or not, it's a story-led game, but the story is not what I'm focusing the most on. What I'm focusing the most on right now is what's the player experiencing? What's the mechanics? What are the mechanics of the game?
What should a player experience, according to you, in a good game?
I don't care as long as they're engaged.
Okay.
And that's the goal is, if you look at the general completion rate of most games, it's pretty small. Maybe 20 to 30% is what people finish. So to me, it's about, look, I want to make the kind of game that I want to play. And right now, I love playing 3 to 5 hour, 4 to 6 hour games, something I can finish in a weekend.
So it's going to be a short game for you.
I believe, I learned this from my buddy Neil Druckmann, who he says that we never set out to go, this game will be X amount of hours. They finished it. They were like, how long is the game? It was like, this long. Like, there it is. So to me, it's about, I want a tight experience. I want something that is not meant to tie your life up for 40 to 60 hours. I think that those are great. I don't know how to make that kind of game.
No.
I want to make a game that once you light the fuse, it's burning quick.
Right.
And my job is to keep that player as engaged as possible.
And you said the story isn't as important as the mechanics in keeping the player hooked?
I think both of them are equally important.
Okay.
But I think that what's surprising me is how much I'm focusing. Because otherwise, if I did just a great story, go shoot a movie.
Right.
It's actually way easier to shoot a movie than it is to make a game. But what I'm most of the ideas that I've had have been like, here's a great story about X. Oh, I need to figure out the mechanics. This was led by, this is an interesting mechanic. How do I build a story around that?
Right, and it's all very secretive still. Or can you share anything about this?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it secret. It's not because I'm afraid. It's more about, I want to roll it out in due time. And I don't...
That's totally fair.
I think what's most important to share to people is that this is a very iterative thing, and it's a very collaborative thing. And it's something that I'm working very hard on.
Right.
It'll be out when it's ready.
When it's ready. That's a good thing. So no timelines yet.
Yeah.
What kind of addition does the current selection of games out there really need, according to you?
Oh, man. I don't know if they need anything. I think that, I'm playing... This has been my roster. Right now I'm going back and playing Cyberpunk.
Oh, really?
Never finished that.
That's a 60-hour game for sure.
Easily, right? Critical Path. I'm playing through Pragmata. I just finished Replaced and Mouse PI for Hire. I haven't started First Light yet, but I want to. The only reason why is because I'm traveling so much, and I don't want to play that game on like my Steam Deck.
No, fair.
And then I just finished playing And Roger, which came out earlier this year, or was it last year when it came out?
Not sure.
And it's about a 45-minute game. You have to play on PC, super, super small team. But there have been about 5 games that I've told my wife, you have to play this game, and this is one of them. The other games have been Inside, Thomas Was Alone, Journey. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Florence.
Right.
And then this one. So my taste is varied, and I don't know if there's anything that those things need. Maybe more visibility.
More visibility for small games.
Yeah, more visibility. So people, I think, most people don't understand. Like they see, let's say a game gets a 500,000 wish lists.
Sure, that's a lot.
It is. But if anything under 1 million, you're talking about conservatively 10 to 15% conversion rate to sales. Okay, so let's say that a game has 500,000 wish lists.
Right.
And let's say they're really doing well. 20% of those people are who actually is going to buy that game.
Yeah.
So it's wish lists are important. But what's most important is that more people that know about it, if nothing else, we can raise it. Now, if you get a game that has over 1 million wish lists, now you're talking about maybe 30 to 50% conversion. So even still, now you're talking 250 to 500,000 units sold.
Yeah.
So it's important that these small studios really get that visibility so that people are actually playing these games.
Right, because it's an industry trend I've been noticing in big games, right? We get a lot of remasters, remakes, sequels, spin-offs.
Sure.
Do you think we need more original work out there?
I think you need both. I think now we're looking at, games that came out 20 years ago. Look at Uncharted. Uncharted came out 20 years ago.
That's a long time.
So, it makes sense for there to be I'm not saying they're going to do a remaster, but look at the games that came out 20 years ago. There's, sure, why not? Why aren't we, Harry Potter, those first movies came out 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So I don't think there's anything wrong with introducing people to, existing IPs. There's nothing better than sharing something like, I want to introduce you to something that meant a lot to me, and having that shared experience. I think you can have a lot of community with that. But I think, yes, to continue to create new experiences, even if that's with older IP, should always be the goal.
Right. And do you think the industry facilitates enough new creators and new work? Because you've been telling me about these wish list numbers and the conversion rates and all those kind of things.
I think if you actually look at what the industry's doing, there's so many what makes headlines. We love to criticize more than we love to celebrate. Look at how many games come out on Steam.
Oh yeah,
it is a remarkable amount of games that come out every month, much less every year. But what leads the headlines is how many people got laid off from Epic.
Yep.
I'm not saying that, I'm not here to criticize reportage, but I think that if we drew as much attention to the good in this industry as we do the flaws,
right.
If we celebrated more than we criticized, I think we could actually see that it's a remarkable place. I don't know, we're seeing, with movies that are coming out, Obsession just came out, and Backrooms came out, and my buddy, Mark, who did Iron Lung. You've got these small disruptive creators in this space that are rocking.
I loved all those movies, by the way. They were great.
And we have people rivaling what Disney's doing. If you looked in the game space, this game And Roger came out, and it's a very, very small game. It doesn't have controller support. Self-published. You look at Yacht Club, who just put out Mina the Hollower.
Oh, I love that. I'm playing that right now.
God, it's
amazing.
so hard.
It is so hard. It's clunky, but I love it.
Yeah, but it feels like they found this NES or Super NES game, and resurrected it to now.
It's like a Game Boy Color Zelda. Nowadays, right?
It feels like Time Crisis or anything, and it's like right of that time, but with this sensibility and the mechanics that we have today. But I think that if we drew more attention to and celebrated what people are making right now, I think that we would realize that this industry is actually an amazing, perennial, effusive place for creativity.
Right, because speaking about creativity, I saw some quotes from you about generative AI being used in games. And you said it can create, but it cannot make art.
No.
So what's your take on that?
So everybody wants to talk about this right now.
Of course.
I think number one, you have to understand. I don't care what your position on it is, either way. But in order to have a position on something, you must understand what it is.
Yes.
And I think right now people are just broad stroking with the same paintbrush. AI is bad. I'm like, well, I see more people make that statement on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I'm like, you're talking about how bad AI is on a platform that is driven by AI. So unless you're using, Morse code or a typewriter, stop. Share your opinion using carrier pigeons if you have a problem with technology. Right. But at least inform yourself with going, hey, if you want to speak directly to generative AI, Seth Rogen said something where he's like, if you're using generative AI to write, you're not a writer, because you're not the process right now. There is nothing like staring at a blank page and going, I have no idea what to do next. Mm-hmm. Being able to go to a cheat sheet that's going to, scrape previous stuff and go, well, here's something quick, is shortchanging the process.
It is, yeah.
I think that the people that I know that are using any form of tool to create. Now, you could talk about this, well, VFX artists, we should go back to plate shots, the way that Disney did it, where it's like, here's a glass plate that the camera's actually moving, and that's where we create dimension. We have no problem using plugins or special effects or anything else. That's totally fine. Where people get scared is when they're afraid that they're going to lose their job. There are a lot of people that could have gotten scared once we went, ooh, it's really expensive to use film, 35 millimeter film. And that became very much of a prestige thing. Unless you're Christopher Nolan, you're not burning through mags. You're going to digital. Yeah. People like Peter Jackson were loss leaders. They came out with these huge Lord of the Rings. They were able to bring the red camera into, popular filmmaking because Peter Jackson, it's the movie that Peter Jackson did, and used digital cameras on. So now that we have that, there was an ultimatum that was put to people that were working in the industry: either adapt, learn how to become a DIT, or get out of the business, because this is where it's going. In order to make these things, this is where it's going. Yeah. I'm not saying that's where we're at with Gen AI, but what I am saying is that everyone that I know that is talking about using any form of tool to be able to make things more efficiently is talking about removing processes, but not people. Right. No one wants to make it less creative. They want more people to be able to make more things. I think it's something that people should educate themselves about and know what they're speaking to. And then if you hate it, go for it. But at least know what you're speaking to. Yeah.
So do you think, you said if you use Gen AI to write, you're not a writer. Yeah. If you use Gen AI to create a game, are you still like a creative? Or like, how do you...
I think you have to be very careful about how you're using that word to say create. Right. So like if I go... Vibe coding is a thing right now.
Oh yeah,
right.
I think maybe 99% of game studios will have some sort of vibe coding going on.
But there's a lot of people that are like, I don't want to have to learn C++, which is still probably the best language.
Yeah, but it's hard.
It's super hard to be able to learn. And people have been using Python for a long time, and Python is C++ is a bridge. Once you think about this, it is on off. That's all we're doing. There is no language to speak to a computer. There is electrical signals on, off. It all still breaks down to 1, 0. And we go, what's the best way for us to do that? 10101001 became the way that we were able to tell a computer on, off, send electrical signal, cut electrical signal. And then we started creating new ways to bridge the gap between this process to this language. You can follow it and trace it back to how we've been doing this for 20 years. So the arrow has always been pointing in, how do we most efficiently perform a task? That's all we've been doing since we first started creating computers. Duh. Of course we're going to be doing this. But everybody that I look at throughout history, you go 500 years ago and you look at Michelangelo, everything that Michelangelo was doing was constantly utilizing technology in order to make it his bitch and create art. That's what we've always been doing. If you look at a 14th century Flemish painting, the way that they painted depth was by painting up. Next thing you know, we're now creating a new technology that allows us to paint in. We started using different mediums. We started using different materials to create art in different ways. Those are the artists that we remember. That is the art that we venerate. Those are the things that we replicate and emulate. That's the stuff. Who was it? Strauss from 2K was one who's like, AI only looks backwards. It can't look forwards. It is looking based upon X and predicting a result, but it's not looking forward. We are the innovators. We are the creators. We are the true generators. That's just an emulator. That's all it can ever possibly do.
Okay, final question.
Go.
You talked about all the games you've been playing on your Steam Deck. Which one would you recommend to me?
I honestly, I really, there's two. I would recommend Replaced, because I really love that studio, and they worked really, really hard. And it's this great 2.5D cinematic platformer that's got a very dense narrative.
Okay.
That has some really cool RPG elements. And I would also recommend playing And Roger. Play it on your Mac or PC, play it through Steam. Take you 45 minutes, and it's just one of the best games about generating empathy that I think you could possibly play this year.
Well, thank you so much, Troy Baker.
My pleasure.